where did the podcast idea come from? Because, I mean, everyone's doing podcasts now. Why are we bothering?
What makes us so special?
Who's going to listen to this, apart from Gary and
Ollie,
our mums?
And yeah, my mum will watch it.
But she's not going to enjoy it.
Oh, she'll not have a clue.
No,
she'll go, I liked it. I didn't get what was going on.
Yeah.
Like most of the films that I've ever made.
I heard you say
far.
camera a couple of times.
Yeah. We went on a walk, didn't we, one time?
We have been on a walk before.
Yeah. We talk a lot about cameras. If we're in a car on the way to a shoot, or if we're in between takes on set, we either chat bollocks or we chat about cameras.
Yeah.
Them two together is... I shouldn't do that and talk about bollocks. Those two together is the perfect podcast.
Because that's another thing. Who's going to be listening to this? Who are we doing it for?
I mean, like, we're clearly 22, 23 years old. I think we're hitting the target audience.
Yeah. I mean, your ball there kind of says...
This is the stresses of being in the
freelance
media industry.
Since 13,
yeah.
I suppose it's probably for people in a similar boat to us who are kind of getting into the industry, learning about cameras, learning about... I think independent filmmaking would be like a big talking point for me. That's what I'm most interested in.
There's a lot to take in, I think, and that's what I've learned. There's a lot of stuff to either succeed as a cam op, just generally, which is what we both do as well as the films. To succeed in that, you've got to know a lot of stuff that I'm sure we'll cover over time. But then even the film side alone, we're learning every time we're on set, aren't we? We're learning things, what does work, what doesn't work, stuff that goes on behind the scenes that's working and what isn't working. It'd be nice for us to, if we were one of those people, we're like, that's a podcast that I'd like to know. At the end of the day, we want to share what we've learned so far. We're not claiming that we're, I've been in the industry for 25 years now, and we're not those guys, but we want to be. I guess.
Couple of years
in,
we've made a couple of things. We've learned a lot of mistakes. It's helping the person on the next rung down, I would say.
Yeah.
Or on the same rung, and we're kind of all looking up together. And I think that's what it is.
You can be inspired by, for us, cinematographers or directors who are at the top of their game, but then there's this massive experience and knowledge and just life lessons that you don't, like, you're just looking at the end goal, but there's everything in between that you kind of need to nail to get to that. And hopefully we cover that. There's no point in starting a podcast without a name.
We haven't got a name. You've got a suggestion which you're excited about.
No, I've got one, because it's tough thinking of a name of a podcast.
It is tough. I mean, obviously, there's an obvious choice.
Yeah.
Which is the Rob Worsey Show. And that's what everyone's going to want to hear. That's what everyone's going to be Googling.
I've not got an idea.
I'm just thinking for SEO, it makes most sense, because that's what people will be searching.
Traffic's going to be.
Yeah.
Because you can either go down the route that is, we were saying earlier, a well-known phrase that you'd say on set. I've told people that we were going to start this.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could call it something like lights, camera, action. Or I was like,
great idea.
Actually, when we roll the camera, that's not the actual way that There's a well-known song called It Takes Two.
All right.
But we change it to It's Take Two. Because there's two of us.
Take two.
It's Take Two. We just need to make sure the jingle doesn't sound like the well-known song.
That's pretty good.
What do you think?
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's Take Two.
Have a sleep on it.
Yeah.
Have a think.
For next week podcast.
But it gives across the fact that it's film related for those who know about takes and stuff. It's a bit funny. And it's like, it's using song lyrics. So for anyone not listening, not watching or whatever,
how's this going to work then? If they're not listening or not watching?
For anyone who's watching, listening, who doesn't know who we are.
Right, that makes more sense.
So that one other viewer apart from my mum.
Yeah, your mum's friend.
Yeah. Shall we describe each other or shall we describe ourselves?
I mean, either way, it's not great, is it? I mean, I don't like talking about myself and things like that. I'll sit and just nod.
I'll describe me.
Go on then.
So, hi everyone, I'm Jordan.
Hello, Jordan.
Both of us are based in West Yorkshire, Leeds, aren't we?
The UK.
Yeah.
This could be international, this podcast.
Good
Europe.
Point.
We're Europeans. People like Europeans.
It's worldwide. We're both camera people, camera persons.
Yeah.
And we dabble into DP and work especially for our own stuff. And I've been freelance for coming up to 2 years now.
That's gone quick, isn't it?
That's flown by.
Yeah.
It's scarily quick. And you're just about to venture into freelancing, aren't you?
Yeah.
Together we do...
This podcast.
This is, we've not got any work in, so we decided to start a podcast.
Yeah.
And make some pennies. But we do similar things, don't we? I think. And we're a good duo.
Yeah.
For anyone who's willing to hire any Leeds-based freelance camera operators. We both started at a production company in Leeds. Feature Media.
Yeah.
Get the plug in there. Right, Julie? I think you got the job we both applied for.
No, I didn't.
Did you not?
No, I didn't. So someone else got the job. I didn't get it.
Second best. Third best. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. And then you joined, yeah.
About 3 months after, wasn't it? 3 or 4 months after?
Yeah, something like that. You were amazing. I was like, who is this guy? Came in. And it was, I remember...
Go on, say it. Go on.
I tell everyone who we work with on this on camera. First shoot with you, we were at a carpet factory. We were shooting on a Sony EX3 and I kind of give it to you and just said, just get a shot of this. And I looked over at the first shot and I was just like, oh dear. White balance way off. It was just incredibly blue.
Ice cold,
It looked like that scene out of Terminator 2 in the back of the car. I was like, oh dear. And I can't remember if I said anything or...
I can remember it being very blue. But I can remember I was too nice to ask straight away for your help.
So you thought I'd get a shot
because
first?
I didn't. If I asked you 5 minutes into shooting, it's like, well, this kid's not got a clip, which you probably thought that anyway. But so I did a few shots knowing it looked crap. Let's be fair.
I think that's a good lesson of just ask.
Both are collectively our favourite project. Was the little council films that we did.
Yeah.
I guess for me, that's when we realised we want to make more of that stuff.
I think it's easy to not find the time to do stuff on the outside.
Definitely.
When you've got a job like that.
That's true. When you're working full time and you might have 1 week where you don't do much and you're in the office, and then the week after you'll be out 5 days a week shooting.
Yeah.
You've not got the time or you've not got the capacity to do the stuff that you want to be doing. I went somewhere else, another production company, didn't I, that did alternative types of production work and things like that, which was exciting. It was the next step for me. And then you obviously went into your teaching. And then with that came incredible kit.
I'm still at this place for another 2 weeks. So I've had access to the kit for all of these projects.
Which we appreciate is a rarity for anyone who might listen and go, well, they've got all the kit.
Yeah, exactly, And we don't have access to this after the next 2 weeks. That'll be interesting when we don't. We had C500 Mark IIs, which are, 20 grand a piece, 17, I think. Samyang Zines, Sigma Cine Zooms.
The lighting for me.
Sky Panel S60s, L10s.
Yeah.
Razors, DS1s, Aladdins, Velvets, Dados. Varicam LTs, I forgot about the Varicams. EVAs, FS7s. It's crazy.
Yeah.
To be able to try out all of them different things, shoot on each of the different cameras, see how each different one acts and which I prefer.
Yeah.
Which led me this year, for going freelance, to buy a 5-year-old camera, which is a good topic in itself of why I did that.
Why did you do that?
There was a lot of options. The Sony FX6 is a nice camera. That was one of them.
Thank you.
There was I was looking at FS7s, Ursa Mini G2s, all sorts.
Yeah.
C200s, C70s. I ended up with a Panasonic Eva one, and it just made the most sense for me in terms of the specs that it gives, what jobs I can use it for, and budget.
Yeah.
I wanted something that was ready to go for events, so like SDI, XLR, NDs, that I could rig up and shoot a feature on, which we just used it last week on our most recent feature, and it's looking really nice.
Yeah.
I've already got an A7S III, so for the corporate and the gimbal and autofocus and stuff like that, that's amazing. And so it made most sense for me.
I think that you going for the EVA is like a very sensible thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you've looked at what you're doing now and what you will carry on doing, at the start, as you launch your freelance career, rather than going, I want the best of everything. I want the newest camera because then I'm most up to date and relevant, when it's not actually the case. That camera like the back of your hand. You know you can make good stuff with that. And I'm sure some people won't notice the difference between an EVA or an EVA and an FX6 or a Blackmagic camera or anything like that. You know?
If someone handed me one, they put both in front of me and said, you can pick one.
Which one would you go for?
I'd take an FX6.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's so much more, for the corporate and everything, it's so useful. But the thing is that I don't need that at the moment, especially with my A7S III, because if I need gimbals and autofocus and stuff, which I do use a lot, I just chuck that on and it's awesome. I've got a variable ND for the front.
Yeah.
If I'm needing stuff with SDI and XLR, and I need to rig it up for a feature where we're taking Teradeks out, putting matte boxes on the front, then it either, it's 5.7 or 5.9K sensor downsample to 4K, 10-bit, 14 plus stops, it's great.
The specs that you go, I'm point scoring here against other people.
Yeah.
If you're not going to use it, you're spending dead money.
Exactly, yeah.
You saved, $4,000 by not getting an FX6 now.
Yeah. And with that $4,000, I bought a new tripod. You need a good tripod, don't you? It's a great tripod.
Yeah.
Look how stable that camera is now.
It's not moved at all.
If the audience is watching this, there's probably no movement in the shot.
Doing its job.
Aperture 300X, which is my favourite light now. I absolutely love that. All for the cost that I could have spent on just the body of an FX6. The light in the tripod and all the stuff that goes along with it is going to make much more of a difference to my shooting than the camera specs.
You come in fully.
100%.
You come as a full package already rather than... You could sell yourself online.
Yeah.
I'll finish this bit.
Hopefully freelance goes a bit better than that. But it's an option.
You could promote yourself and go, I'm a Sony FX6 user.
Yeah.
It's like, right, cool, we'll hire you. Then you get to the set, you've got one lens because you've spent
got a stills tripod.
You got a flimsy tripod that
it's going to look great as long as everything's locked off.
Yeah, and I've not got lights, so, I'm an au naturel. It's like The Revenant, my stuff. I just shoot natural daylight. What was the first camera you ever bought?
Canon 70D. Yeah.
That was the DSLR hype.
That was the first one with usable autofocus as well.
Yeah.
And I was still at uni, and my dad's an electrician, and he bought it for me at the start of summer because I had a couple of jobs coming in, and I was like, shit, I need a camera. And so he said, I'll get it for you now, but you've got to work a certain amount of days across summer to pay it off.
Yeah.
And I did, so that's the way I got it. So he helped me, but I earned it and it felt good.
Yeah.
But I love that camera, it was well good.
You still got it?
No, I haven't got it anymore. And I'm chopping and changing all the time.
Yeah.
What about you?
It was a Canon 600D.
So not as good as a 70D.
No. And it was also off eBay. It wasn't the 600D, but it was the Japanese equivalent, which I think is like the Kiss X5 or so. I forgot what it was.
Oh my God.
It was about 350 quid.
Yeah.
And then I bought a lens. I can remember looking at the lens options you can get with the camera. And there was 18 to 200mm Tamron lens.
And you just thought, I don't need another lens.
I thought it was a fault on the eBay because it was like an 18 to 55 was an extra 200 quid. But the 18 to 200 was 30 quid more. And I was like, I'm going to get this deal before someone notices that this is a steal. And
genius.
I got it and it was shite. And then it was when I moved up to Leeds actually.
Yeah.
I was just finishing uni and I bought the 50mm Nifty 50.
Yeah.
I bought it for 40 quid off eBay. And
it's not bad.
Just finishing as a student, you think, fucking hell, 40 quid, that's
a lot of money, but it'd be worth it.
I've entered the game now, boys. I'm in the industry.
Just 8-bit, crappy megabit per second.
Back then I didn't know.
Upscale 1080p probably. No, I didn't know anything. I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
My
1080p.
Film's going to look amazing.
Yeah. You think, I can put this next to an Alexa or in a mirror and it'll look this. Oh, I said Alexa.
Bless her.
Be quiet.
Sorry, darling.
Yeah, I can remember back then I was just like, it's 1080p. It's fine.
Yeah.
50p. 1080p. Sound. I don't need to buy a C100 that I just shot with at uni. Got this for 400 quid. Hang on, we've got someone tweeting in asking a question.
Have we really?
Yeah. I can't keep on.
What's Colette asking?
The perfect camera for you right now, what would it be?
I like some.
Do you know what a camera is?
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I don't know because for corporate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think the FX6 is hard to beat.
Yeah. I've used it enough to really enjoy it, and it's been a big step up from the mirrorless type of shooting.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I found myself using the A7S III more for what I currently do the ease of using an A7S III at the moment for me, and it's almost a bit sad to admit it because the FX6 costs a lot more. But I use my A7S III way more than my FX6 because it's
just because of the size.
The size, the portability. When I've got to go down to London on a train, I can fit that in my overnight bag. With my FX6, it's another case to take. The stabilisation in the A7S III comes in really handy. On the FX6, obviously it's not got it, and it's got the gyro data, which I've not yet tried, but there's not much difference between the two in terms of the image quality. It's got the same benefits as the FX6 and the A7S III combined with, we want to shoot in log occasionally, but we want to shoot in Cinetone or a normal profile occasionally. They're great and they're perfect for both. So is the FX6 the perfect camera at the minute, or the A7S III?
I mean, I do like the A7S III. There's something about it for me that I haven't fallen really in love with it. I think it's because it doesn't feel like a camera that was designed by a photographer, if you know what I mean. One of the cameras that I use a lot for day-to-day photography is a little Olympus EM1 Mark II, which, like, specs-wise, it's like, I mean, it's dated, considering I've got an A7S III and a Panasonic S5 sat there.
Yeah.
But there's just something nice about using it, and I don't get that from the A7S III. But the footage, the autofocus is so good that there's no alternative really for me there. Like, same as you, going down to London, shooting events, I've got it to a point now where I can get, for shooting a highlights video in an event, I can get everything I need and a change of clothes in one like low pro rucksack.
Which for some projects, it helps totally you way more than lugging a massive pelly case around London or Manchester.
What's your perfect camera? How would you make the FX6 perfect? Because it's nearly there, isn't it?
I do like the versatility of the recording rates and the data rates of the A7. Whereas with that, XAVCL is 50 megabits a second at 50p in 1080.
Oh, so it's that or like 500?
I don't know what it is in. That's in 1080. In 4K, I think it's like 100 or 150 megabits a second, which is
that's
better.
All right then,
But then you jump straight to the XAVCI codec, which is the Intra. Whereas with these, you've got your H.265 codecs. You've got
the H.265 is nice. Yeah,
that would be great. It'd be nice.
Would you shoot features on it?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think the colours there?
Yeah, and it's handy for the budgets that we work on at the minute.
Yeah.
Sometimes it removes the need of a focus puller because it's that good. We were talking about it the other day, weren't we? It was like
we nearly did a shot.
Go
on autofocus, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did it manual focus in the end and kind of nailed it first take. Can't remember who was doing it, but I'd be open to trying shots with the autofocus for sure now.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Size wise, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You can rig it up to look beefy for the people who think that a small camera means that you're not as good of a cam op.
Yeah,
the frame rates are all there that I need at the moment.
Yeah,
I can't see us going past. Pardon me, the need to go past like 4K 120 in the next few years. I don't think there's going to be a need for that. Unless it's like product work.
But people keep doing it, won't they? And then people keep upping them frame rates.
Where's it going to stop? Or when is it going to stop? Because...
to be fair, this is a good topic, is frame rate.
Yeah.
And resolution. I'd happily say, let's just stop now. Like, please just stop.
Yeah.
For cinemas and features, I prefer Blu-ray.
And hard drives.
Yeah, and hard drives. But 2K is, I think, the nicest resolution for watching, for me. I watched the Lord of the Rings remastered 4K on a 4K telly, and that was too sharp. And that's with turning all of the enhanced sharpness and crap off your telly.
Yeah.
Like, getting it to where the filmmaker wanted it, and that feels too sharp. You can see pores and makeup and stuff like that. I think Blu-ray is, like, what I like to watch. I think that's well sharp enough.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd prefer to just keep shooting 4K or 6K and mastering in 2K. Dynamic range and things like that makes much more difference for me.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered about 8K. The only places I think they should keep throwing resolution out there is sports and nature documentaries and stuff like that, where resolution is incredible. You know, you're shooting you're watching the new David Attenborough and it's shot in like 8K.
It looks insane.
It looks amazing. But I think for features, it's so sharp. It just feels like, I don't know.
Too much in it.
I think so, yeah.
So then if cameras carry on, if they listen to this
Yeah.
You know, if they were one of
all
the
the
million
big dogs are listening to
subscribers,
this.
yeah. If they listened and was like, whoa, stop production on that 12K.
Rob says, stop it, don't bother.
If that was the case, so it's frame rates, dynamic range, because at some point there's going to be a limit on what you can do. Is there going to be a limit, actually, on what you can do in a camera? If we're stopping resolution, what else can we do? Because to me, the cameras are like, in the last 10 years, or even as long as I've known you, the cameras are like, do we want to go any better? But they're going to have to keep improving in some ways.
It's mad, isn't it, how much it's changed. Like, when we met at Feature and we were getting excited about the GH5, it's like, oh my God, it's got 10-bit and 4K 60.
Yeah.
And now you see stuff coming out like the R5C with 8K RAW, full frame. It's nuts. It's crazy. For me, I'd prefer something that's 5.9K, because there's that whole thing about, like, you've got to have 5.9K to get a real 4K or something like that. I can't remember. I had a deep dive into that at one point. I was like, oh my God, 4K isn't real 4K. It's got to be downsampled from 5.9K to get a real colour or something. Like a 5.9K, and then working on like dynamic range. Global shutter, I think, that should be the next big push. So you're not dealing with rolling shutter and things like that. I think there's a lot of specs that camera companies can work on without having to just keep going resolution-wise.
So, what's coming up for you?
I've left my job. I've handed my notice in. Thanks. Yeah. So, last day is next Friday, which is scary. I'm going freelance. So, I've been kind of investing back in kit, getting ready for that.
Are you ready? Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, yeah.
I can tell you as a friend you are.
Oh, stop it.
I didn't think I was when I went freelance 2 years ago, and it was like, you're never going to think you're ready.
What's next for you then? What's coming up?
It's a time for me to catch up on my own stuff.
Yeah.
Cause
the police drama.
Yeah, God.
That's a topic in itself. Putting stuff off and off. When's the right time to do a project? That's a good topic.
It's a bit like, when's the right time to go freelance, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can say, oh, but 1 week more of planning or whatever will make it better. A month more of planning will make it better, whatever. The thing with the police drama one for me, and we've spoken about this before, but I want to do other things before that one because I feel like it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want, my director debut, and for it being the first one, to not make it as good as it could be.
Yeah.
But I get it, and
But you're always going to have that worry, because I think that's an important lesson that you learn, is that what you see in your head, chances are it's not going to end up like that on screen.
Yeah. Unless you've got a crew of 100 people.
Exactly, yeah, but at our level.
Yeah. Getting that crew's good though, isn't it? Like a crew, not just a crew who can do the jobs that you need at a skeleton crew level, but ones who are equally as giving in their time and using their time as an investment for their own improvement, as well as to make a film that everyone's proud of collectively.
Well, I think that's how we do it at the moment, is that everyone or most people who are putting a lot of time into it are either family and friends doing us a favour or stepping up on a role.
Yeah.
So, like, first time DP, first time, like, AC or something like that, you know.
I felt like underprepared as a DP on a film, but I guess, you have to be pushed into a deep end sometimes to...
Yeah, you got to take that step, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think. If you didn't feel ready to DP that, then how come you said yes? How come you went for that?
Part of me says... Yeah, but are you at that level yet? Do you want to give someone else who can give it, a good try and do a really good job at it? And I can just work on camera and I'll learn from them and do that. Or do you just go all in? And I mean, it helps having you who's a director and DP. Because they're
not really though.
But then you know what you wanted for that, which really helps me for the situation I was in.
Yeah.
If I was a fully fledged DP, we could have had conflict in terms of, no, we want it should be like this, it should be like that. And then I think with that, that's when the partnership can start forming of knowing how you work as a director and DP, which that's on one of the topics that we'll go into greater detail about.
And I think that's an interesting conversation as well. When you have stuff like that, when you're nervous about it, sometimes you have just got to go for it, haven't you?
Yeah. You have to kind of
Bullshit.
glamorise yourself a bit in terms of what you...
You got to talk it up, and
Yeah, that's why a show reel, like, you know, a DOP show reel is a minute and a half of your very best stuff. It's not a false representation of you.
Yeah, because you've got to be able to back it up.
God,
I
yeah.
think I've met a lot of people who are all talk, and they do talk a good game, and then it's not there.
I've always said as a camera person that you only use a quarter of the knowledge on set for that day.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just knowledge tucked away for continuity or if something goes wrong. I think there's a lot of camera operators who think they're worthy of being a DOP on a set because they can make something look pretty. With enough time, I think a lot of people can do that. But if something goes wrong with the camera or a setting or something needs to change drastically, you need to know all that to be fully competent in what you do.
Yeah.
Whether it's, you know, if we're losing light, how do we work around that? It's like, oh, I don't know, I just made the shot look great because the sun was coming through the window at 2 o'clock and now it's 4 and now it looks rubbish.
I've done that in the past. Like at uni, we were shooting our final year film and we were getting a shot of a motorbike in a garage, and I kind of put the camera on the slider, pointed it, turned it on, and it looked incredible. At the time, I was like, I don't know why it looks so fucking good, but I'm just going to shoot it. And then that was the start of my show for ages, that shot.
Was that the opening shot?
Yeah, it was like sliding along, there was dust falling, there was light rays coming through, it was like, oh, it was incredible.
And then someone comes and goes,
can you replicate that? It's like, nah, no chance.
Nah.
I mean, now I'd obviously do the shot and do it way better, you know, because there was like peaking highlights and things like that. But
yeah,
it's still a good looking shot. And
to an untrained eye.
Yeah, and it was total luck.
It's quite common that a lot of people work on things that they want to do for free.
Yeah.
Nowadays, just for the exposure.
Yeah.
And, you know, my watch is telling me to exercise.
Lazy bastard.
It's like saying, it's been 1 hour since you had the McDonald's. You fat fuck. And it's happened to me, and I don't know if it's happened to you, but people have said, you know, oh, we'd love you to come in and do a promo video. It'd be great exposure for you, and it'd be great for us. I'm like, A, what do you think about working for free, working for exposure?
Yeah.
And if you do agree with it, which situations are the best situations to do that?
You've got to build your show reel up, haven't you? And you've got to have the opportunities to actually shoot stuff to build your show reel up.
Yeah.
I had an annoying one because there was like a local music festival and I was like, oh yeah, we'll do it for free. It was me and my friend from uni. We'll shoot it for free as long as you pay us on next year's. And he's like, yeah, that's fair. And then comes down to next year and we're like, oh yeah, it's going to be this much. And looking back, it was like a few £100. It wasn't much at all.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, well, I've got someone who's going to do it for free again, so no. And yeah, I mean, that sucked. If someone came up to me and said, we want you to do a film, it'd be great exposure for you. No chance.
When's that turning point? There has been one. Obviously, you can't go, it was December the 17th.
Yeah, well, there's no cut-off, is it? Because it gets to a point where some things are coming in for exposure and you think, no, I'm not going to do them, but then others do. And you think, oh, I'll do them because it's a better company or I haven't shot like that before or something like that. Yeah. So I don't think there's
no definitive time to tell
I don't
people.
think so. Fiction-wise and indie shoots and stuff like that, I still work for free because that's my passion. That's where I want to be. I've got loads of friends who are in that industry as well, making their own films. And we're almost in like a community of filmmakers who help each other out, do it because they love it, and also more experience, stepping up roles and things like that, and trying to progress together.
Yeah.
If you paid everyone's day rates and everything like that, you just won't be able to make the film because unless you're getting funding, how is it possible?
Mm-hmm.
In that situation, I think it's about who you're asking to work for exposure. Who are you asking to volunteer their time? Yeah. If you give Roger Deakins a ring and say, will you do this little film for me? We're just starting out.
Do you want me to?
Can you?
Yeah.
I'm just making a point. I didn't know.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
But I mean, I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but he's not the person you go to ask that, is there?
No.
If you're in a group all working at a similar level and all trying to step up together, then that's where it's beneficial for everyone to be able to do it.
With the cut-off point, I think you have to be self-aware of if you're being taken for a mug or not. If they're saying it's for your benefit when it's clearly for their benefit instead. Yeah. Like you say, if you feel like there's a show reel benefit in that will get you to that next level, to level up, do it. I did a bar promo.
Yeah.
Just as I started going freelance.
Yeah.
And I did it for free.
Yeah.
Off the back of that, I've had a lot of inquiries and work because I made that video.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even them going to me saying, "Oh, we'd love you to make a video for free." I actively decided to go and do that. That's not always going to pan out that way, because I've done a few others that's just, it's building up the portfolio rather than that one video has got me that job. But I know that one itself has helped me quite a lot with freelancing, especially if you've got the opportunity to choose your own work like that, and concept work and things like that. Go for it if you've got the time, as long as you're not hitting yourself, whether it's financially or with your own time that you've got free to do it. You need to make sure you're either earning enough to, have the time to do that if it's for free.
What about narrative and indie films and stuff like that then? You volunteered your time for us, like on films that I've done.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
We're just a good group of people who get on, and we've all got the same aspiration.
Yeah.
When you've got that group of crew and cast as well, you all work and you improve collectively.
Yeah.
And we've seen that on the films that we're doing.
Yeah.
In between feature 1 and feature 2, there's a step up.
Yeah.
Between 2 and 3, there will be another step up.
Yeah.
And everyone's doing better things and, being better at what they do. So it's a shame to not be a part of that when you know that group of people are all in it for the same reason.
We've sort of seen and heard this a lot when we came to do our feature, is that no one will fund you to do a feature until you've done one.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, well, how do you do that? And to being able to say you've done one is, despite how it turns out, and if nothing had ever happened with it, fair enough. But to be able to say you've done one is then that merit to potentially be able to try and get funding.
Yeah. And I'm sure we'll go into that. We'll do an episode on that one film, for instance, and what we learned from that and things like that. So if you have any questions that you want to ask Director Bob, should we have a hashtag for anyone who wants to ask a question?
Really, we should. But
we've got to seem legit, haven't we? Hopefully this isn't a one-off. To be fair, we'd have to make sure that whoever does write in, if they use the hashtag itstaketwo, that you don't go it takes two, because then your question will be asked on the BBC Two Strictly Come Dancing spin-off. It Takes Two. I've just realised that there's a show called It Takes Two, so it's Take Two, not It Takes Two.
Oh right, so that's confusing. It's Take Two, not It Takes Two.
It's Take Two.
Oh, you've left your dead cat on, your pop shield.
I've had a cold, haven't I? So I need to get rid of the...
Doesn't look matching now.
How do we round this off? I need to listen to some podcasts to learn how they round a podcast episode.
Yeah, we can just kind of say, if you made it this far, thanks for listening.
Yeah, if you're not asleep by now, wake up! If we've not bored you to death.
If you made it this far, thanks for listening.
Well done.
Well, yeah. I mean,
hopefully
if there's an episode 2 below this one, then something's gone all right.
Yeah.
If not, then either you're just early to the game,
and
this is it.
Yeah.
And we gave up.
This will be found in 30 years' time in the archives.
Yeah. When are we doing this again then? Next week?
Yeah.
We don't know when this will be out, so it's hard to say, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Cheers.
And scene.